Hello everyone and welcome to session 31 of Aneria, The Shattered Realm.
Everything shattered.
I don't know what just happened.
We all shattered.
We are shattering in the realms.
We mentally shattered.
Thank you everybody for joining us this evening. As you notice, we are one person down and we'll get into that in just a moment here.
Yes.
But first, I want to discuss what you can do to help us because we love you and we want your help. Please. Like, comment, subscribe. Toll the Dead. Don't forget to check out our other videos, including our amazing one-shot. Fantastic. Tori, do we have anything to announce for you? No, not yet. Okay. We'll move on from there.
Wait till my kids go back to school.
Okay. And
Children!
also, don't forget to join us on stream on Fridays. We stream at 7 p.m. or sometimes Saturdays, depending on how we're feeling. And we do some painting. Sometimes we play a game. Oh, look, we got our fourth member.
Yeah,
there we go.
Hi. For a bit.
Yeah.
Shoot my bow.
Or various other projects that we like to do.
We also have a Patreon.
And we do have a Patreon. We have a $2 tier, $5 tier. $5 tier gets you exclusive bonus content, including some fun watch-alongs, some exciting stuff coming soon, and...
Both of them give you access to private Discord stuff.
Yeah, and our episodes 2 days early.
Yeah.
So you can watch this on Monday, or forget about it and watch it on Wednesday instead of forgetting about it and watching it on Friday.
That's funny because we've had a couple comments from some of our patrons, and we've had some comments underneath going like, "Are you from the future? How did this happen like 2 days ago?"
So there you go.
Yeah, that's how.
They are from the future.
They are.
And
We also
then
have $1 million tier.
Oh, yeah.
That if you
pay $1
sign up
million,
for that-
you can join the game.
Yeah.
And we'll send you a free Mr. Bigglesworth.
Yes.
Yes.
And then don't forget to follow Syrinscape. Not follow, but like Syrinscape. Go check it out.
Is that you?
Milky White?
It's from Into the Woods.
Okay.
Gotta get my musical theater references
course,
in
yes.
there.
But you know the cow by now, and Syrinscape provides our
That
wonderful...
musical so much.
Are you
so much.
serious?
It's so dumb.
We need to have
The only thing he likes is
then.
Agony.
Agony is
Where
great.
have you seen
Agody's
it?
great.
The movie. He's just seen the movie. So,
Yeah, it's crap.
yeah.
Okay, well, then we agree.
The movie version.
So if it ever comes to town, I'll force him to go to it.
It is coming to town.
It is?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
In 2 different places.
All right.
Santa
Different
Claus,
theaters
too.
coming up.
Alrighty.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be part of it too, or else he won't go see it.
Yeah, I only go to theater stuff to support my friends.
Yep.
That's the only reason I do theater.
True.
Is to keep Scott more cultured.
I was gonna say, to get support from your friends, we can support you outside of it.
To keep Scott cultured.
That's true.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
None of that Star Trek uncultured crap.
Yeah.
We're talking musical theater here. All right. Well, let's go ahead with that and begin tonight's session. Last time, the party, or rather, thank you, Fred, met with Nyrod the Glimmering, the brass dragon that she
Your new
initially
BFF.
was sort of, but then you also like hated him like two seconds later, which is completely
BDF?
Fred and okay.
Best dragon friend?
No,
That funky dragon.
I like that. What was that? Dragon tells, dragon tells. She had some to tell.
Okay,
I wish with all my heart to live with dragons in a world apart. Is that how it goes?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes,
That's
so
exactly right.
impressed me.
Wow.
Love that show.
Childhood throwback.
Yeah.
Sure.
Love that show as a kid. So, or maybe now. Maybe that's why our cornice exists.
Pete's Dragon. That one's got
Yeah.
kind of a sad song.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Down on the water.
Learn
That
how to
one?
whitewash a whatever it's called.
Or are you talking about Puff the Magic Dragon?
Puff Magic Dragon.
Yeah.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
It's kind of a somber
Puff
melody.
The Magic
I
Dragon.
thought you were talking about
Lives by
the
the
other
sea.
movie. Pete's Dragon.
Haven't seen that yet.
Yes,
It's-
you have. Not even
The original?
that OG.
Mm-mm.
That's the best one. The new one's okay.
They did the
Yeah,
whole.
I
They did
don't
the
know
whole
what
live
you're
action animation.
Yeah.
Mixed together.
Anything Disney before like their cartoon renaissance, I haven't seen.
Anything before
Everything I
Lion
know
King?
I've
about
seen-
lighthouses, which is like nothing, came
Like
from that
what?
movie.
I've
Like
seen
Little Mermaid
like,
started.
Little
and then
Mermaid,
you were like,
White House.
The Fog Horror
Right.
and the Lighthouse.
right.
I've
Lighthouse,
seen
like
like the
White
older
House.
animation stuff because that's what I grew up on as a kid. Casey showed me bed knobs and broomsticks, so I've seen that one.
good.
Yes.
And
Love that one.
Mr. Lim.
Draconis. Dracorum.
That's the one where he becomes a fish. Don becomes a fish.
Yes,
yeah, I've
so
seen that one as well. I don't remember too much about it.
Yeah.
And that is it.
Sorry, that's his foghorn.
I've seen. I don't know if Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is Disney,
I don't
but
know, but that's one of my favorites.
I saw that one, but I wasn't really paying attention.
Sweets.
Yeah.
Toot.
Little children.
I kind of just made fun of the movie the entire time Mystery Science did. So yeah.
So good.
I mean, it was fine. I was a teenager at the time, so I might appreciate it better now.
What do you see?
That one's a good one, yeah.
Okay, back to our recap here. There are no rails tonight.
No.
So after you met with Myra and received a quest from him,
Yes.
to go find Etheria the Gentle.
Dragon quest.
Yes, a dragon quest, some would say. Yes.
Yes.
Ooh.
Um,
Anime.
you were not confronted, but you were met outside the Seat of the Dragon by John Broomman, who told you that things were going completely haywire. And you were taken quickly. Yep, there's good old John and his trusty broom. And you were taken to the ship by a normal captain, by a normal like sea captain on a junk, if you remember.
He swept you away.
Yep,
to
it
the
swept you away.
On the captain's junk.
Captain's junk. And you arrived at this tunnel, started going down it, found Bolt's body coming back the other way, which was a harrowing experience for Fred. You tried to tackle him, you tried to Eldritch Blast him, none of that worked, but then you finally asked him politely to stop, and he stopped. And, them. And you never, ever say Bolt's gender wrong, that's for sure. Never. Fred never does. That didn't happen in that episode. And then you met up with Victor, who explained that Bolt and Aramis had both died during an encounter, and that you were here recovering their
He was
bodies,
panicked. and she
along
calmed
with
the
two
emotions.
dragonkin mercenaries from Arconis itself.
Yes.
You went down into this quarry. You saw a ship leaving with Ravon, which was who Victor, Aramis, and Bolt were here to collect. And they said that they were going off to the Nook. You don't know what that is at
in
this
Barnes
point.
and Noble.
Yep, it's just over in the corner
Next
there.
cranny.
It's a nice coffee shop.
And then you fought a large dragonkin and completely trashed his stuff, as it were,
Yeah.
and brought the body of Aramis, which was listed there, back into the ship. And you sailed back using
Did we get to the
Bolt's-
ship? I thought we got to just the room.
No, you got to the ship, and Bolt actually...
That's right.
The corpse of Bolt navigated it back to port. And you received word from Kilobix, who said that help was on
Your
the
shell.
way. Yeah, your shell. Thank you.
I'm a glorified GPS at this point.
Exactly.
He needs a new Ryzen processor.
So you've got 7 days that you need to wait, because help is coming from Aneria. You ask around probably on the first day and find out that there's nobody really here on Arconis that can do what you're asking.
we didn't watch any moving pictures for 7 days, right?
No, unfortunately, there's
No
no
rings?
VHS tapes in Arconis.
Okay. 7 days.
The only rings we have are communication rings.
That's true. There's 7 rings. To rule them all.
I'm just
8
imagining.
things.
I'm just
Eight
imagining
rings.
Sadako coming out of one of your communication rings.
Little tiny one.
Draw that. Like,
Yep.
tiny ring, but like the body's like...
Did you see the brander that Preston drew? Oh my gosh.
The
Gross.
punchable face
That
was-
render.
That was
It was-
Right over here.
We had Tinaka Joe and a whole lot of others, but Tinaka Joe was there for a good majority of it, and we had a good time.
It was good.
Oh man.
They came up with all the colors, everything.
Oh, he's
Mrs.
got
Tanaka,
the
everybody.
smarmiest look on his face.
He really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, he's got to look like Squidward, like the Giga Chad, like
You know-
big lips and like just like
He
Handsome
reminds
Squidward?
me of
yeah, handsome Squidward.
the evil guy from Corpse Bride. The one who was going to try and marry for the money.
Yes.
He's got that kind of
Yes.
like same face shape
Yeah.
and
Very pompous.
Mhm, and the jowl thing, going on.
100%.
So if you want to see it, go to the Discord.
Yeah. Actually, we posted the picture right there. Everybody's been looking at it this entire time. So, and if not, well, that's
you
cool.
should, you should put it there and then just like blur it and then be like, let's see on Discord. No, we wouldn't.
No, just join us on Fridays.
Yeah.
You can have a hand in drawing other
Yeah.
punchable characters.
Indeed.
If you want to bring nightmares to life, I'm your man.
All right.
Yeah, the
so,
pig centaur haunts my dreams.
That thing.
Thank you.
Okay, so you've got a week to kind of... You can't really go off and do anything major until your party is back together, or you find out, what recourse you kind of have moving forward once the help arrives, whatever that means. Kilobix is a little bit spotty on the details. So what would you two like to do during that time? And we'll get to Thonk in a moment here as well. So we'll start with Fred. Mm-hmm. Fred, is there anything that you would like to do? Any sort of moment that you'd like to have with either of the corpses, that sort of thing, or the shell of Bolt rather, that might come up?
Fred feels very uncomfy about that, and is kind of antsy, and so I think as a way to distract herself, she will try and this is 100% selfish, but go around town asking people for things they need done to do a good deed, because she's trying to get on their good side.
Yeah, she's definitely trying to build up the karma with the common people.
Yes, but it's obviously very hollow. I mean, she's trying to do it for her own gain. Yeah. But that's what she would do.
Okay.
And if there's a Boy Scout troop or something around there, she would say she was part of them, so people would take her more seriously.
You are neither a boy or a scout.
You know what? There is
or a child.
There is.
I'm a late bloomer.
Or a human.
Late bloomer.
There is definitely some sort of scout troop that teaches young Dragonborn and
they are
citizens.
called the Bloomers. Yeah.
Yeah, they're called the Bloomers.
Must be discovered.
And they do. Their uniform does consist of bloomers as well. So
she'll 100%.
Yeah, you
steal
are
some.
full on. Yeah, steal some from one of the kids.
Yeah, they're little tiny shorts on her.
Very much so.
Do you have any of the bigger sizes? No, we usually don't have people join this.
You probably help out at the orphanage. Read some stories to the kids that are very much not safe for kids to actually listen to, and probably terrify a few of them.
Yes,
they're all Dragonborn.
Let me tell you all about
which mostly,
which would mean they all have tails.
Trying to recruit.
Yeah.
So do they doctor her bloomers, or does she just have a?
Well,
tail?
she's the one who stole it, so unless she stitched up the bloomers, there is probably a tail hole in the bloomers as well.
She tried to stitch it up.
Okay.
That's not her strong suit, though.
Would you just give me a dexterity check here? Let's see. You don't have a profession for tailoring, so I don't think we're adding proficiency.
Good.
With that, at least it's probably not a bunch of clothespins.
15.
15? Yeah, you do a serviceable job.
Excellent.
You kind of had to learn on the fly.
You could literally just tell Bolt to do it.
And
That's true. And they would do
That's
a fantastic.
the 15 was just telling Bolt to do.
You could have a few of your squadrons from the silverware, the forks are
yes. They're just. Oh my god.
There's just two forks
standing guard.
in the wings.
She clinks when she walks by.
And then if you ever need to, you can just say sick them, and they'll go.
Yes.
Sick them, and then just gotta go.
The butt forks.
Walk up to a wall. So
perfect. You probably also I'll say that you get a task to help out on one of the silk farms that takes you beneath Aldros, so you get to experience one of these spider ranches where there are these giant spiders kind of in these big caverns, and you help milk the silk out of them, kind of like you would a cow, but much more horrifying.
That is horrifying.
Yeah, I don't know how Fred would feel about that.
Grab the abdomen and squeeze.
Yes.
That's her worst.
Are there driders in this?
In this city? No. There might be some arachne type beings elsewhere.
Yeah. Well,
is there a being that's just a hive of sentient spiders?
It's for a thank you for doing
That's
costumes.
so cool.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah, it's a cool little dragon journal.
And they gave me this pen, and it says Dungeon Master Torrey. And the guy who gave me this, he was like, "Is that an appropriate term?" He's like, "I tried to research it because he doesn't know me." I was like, "Actually, I prefer the term dungeon mistress." And he was like,
"Yeah,"
horrified. And I was like, "It's a joke." Anyways,
it's a joke.
You always have to clarify what kind of group they are.
So you much in a typical Fred fashion, Your fear of death leaves you in denial that you will ever die, and instead you devote yourself to your cause of killing somebody else.
Single-handedly made the bloomers a fashion statement in this part of town.
100%.
Oh yeah, you do find...
You've rescued a lot of cats from trees, and everyone's like, you know what? Only cool people wear bloomers, I guess.
Actually, yeah,
With-
there's
with
a nice little
forks
chunk
in the
of
back.
there's a nice little chunk of
It's like
the
having like
population that
chopsticks
is
in your
wearing-
hair,
Yeah.
but forks in your pants.
Congratulations, you've created
you.
a new fashion statement in Aldros.
Thingamabobs.
Nyrod is like, I need to get a set of bloomers immediately.
Dragon-sized bloomers.
Dragons,
It's in vogue.
bloomers.
Now, how would they wear them?
We
Just the
don't-
bottom half or all four?
Yep.
No, not that debacle again.
And what about Victor?
So Victor, I think that he would be probably equally like in shock, or not really in shock, but more like in denial that it's a problem, that everything's gonna be okay, that he's trying to convince himself, like, despite the cold truth kind of staring him in the face. So he would probably, I don't know, he probably would sit, and this is like really sad, but he'd probably just sit and like talk to the corpses.
Okay.
You
Alright,
know?
and yeah, we'll
just
get
kind of
to-
like,
That is why Fred has laughed, actually.
Because Victor's being a downer.
yeah, he's like,
You go to the refrigerator that Aramis is all
I forgot
folded up.
yeah. Knock on it. How you doing in there, buddy? Just keep chilling.
magic freezer.
Wait, hold on. Never mind. Too soon.
You keep doing ice puns, like ice to meet you. And,
Nice.
ooh.
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely get to that in just a moment here.
Yeah.
Because I do have
But he would be, that would be kind of his, he would be
7 days of mourning.
defensive of that, and he would be like that whole like ashen sackcloth type, like this is his fault, and like he's like, it's okay, we're gonna fix this.
Yeah.
And but he would probably sequester himself mostly just to the
Funk would have
ship.
came to you for sure and been like, the gold? Did you promise?
Yes. How much did I promise? I forgot.
I can't remember.
It was this much. And we'll determine it because I
1,000 gold?
forgot as well.
Sure. That works.
Yeah, 1,000.
That would have been probably dollar signs, you know.
So he would give you 1,000 platinum because I don't have that much gold on me.
Not 1,000.
Sorry, 100
I
platinum.
was going to say,
Not 1,000 platinum.
here's 10,000 gold.
In his sadness, he's
Yeah, he's not worried
So
about
he
that.
would say, and thank you for your help. If you need anything, we'll probably have more jobs ahead if you want to hang around.
If there's more gold involved, I'm in.
There's always more gold. I mean, I suppose, you know, we might have to look at ask Bolt when he's back, you know, to maybe in the guild coffers or something. And, yeah, he'll just it'll be that kind of like aimless conversation.
Well, I'll be at.
Now, before we get to where you're staying, Thunk, you did have something that you wanted. Thunk. You said Thunk just a moment ago.
Thunk.
I swear you said Thunk.
Who'da thunk?
Anyway.
It's just down.
I wrote down
Yeah.
thunk.
Yeah, and that's what I wrote down too, and then you said Thunk, so I was just like, okay then. You wanted to research this Nook place that they mentioned, right?
Yes.
So you wanted to go to some of the seedier taverns and such. Give me just a general investigation roll.
General investigation.
General investigation.
15.
15? You do actually eventually hear, like, you start asking around about it, and you get a couple people that kind of, like, glance at you weird, like, why are you asking if you don't already know? But eventually somebody does say, oh yeah, you mean Knave's Nook.
Yes.
Yeah, Knave's Nook is, I mean, you've never been there, I'm assuming?
No.
Well, as long as you're, like, you know, a rogue, that kind of thing, a thief, somebody who's maybe not always on the right side of the law, you can always find a safe place in Knave's Nook, which is, I mean, technically it's in the Sylium Peaks, but it's a nice little canyon.
I literally
there. Yeah, agreed. But it's a nice little canyon where they don't really have any sort of control over, and no lawful types can actually get to you in there. It's got some weird like enchantment around it that prevents them from finding their way around.
Okay. Well, good to know. Thank you. I'm going to slide a gold piece to him.
Well, thank you. Absolutely.
And then you hear
So now
this.
you're in the money.
Yeah. Hop off the chair and just shuffle out of there.
So you can relay that information to the rest of the group as a whole,
Sure.
as well if you wanted to during that.
Yeah, that'll be mostly what I do. And I'll just tell you that I'm at like a local inn. I'm trying to come up with a name for something, but I can't.
The
Golden Scale.
Actually, the House of the Golden Scale is already
The Red Scale.
Red Scale Inn. I was going to say the Bludgeoning Badger, but I suppose Red Scale is a fine name.
Fine. The Bludgeoning
Nope,
Badger.
it's too late. We've already decided.
Cheers, his brother.
I'm going to write it both down though. And
And then as I leave the ship, I'll walk by Bolt and go, do a flip.
and
And then I'll just go as I walk down the plank. Or
Bolt doesn't really have that good of an acrobatics, but he makes
No.
it.
No,
they make
they
it
would definitely
passable.
try.
Attempt.
He does this instead.
Yeah. Fred taught him that. Taught them that. Them. I'll get it.
That sounded like no.
But so let's go ahead and go back to Victor here. Victor.
I'm good. Bolt will try it. That's a dirty 20.
Yeah, Bolt does a fantastic flip.
Like a perfectly executed,
Uh-huh.
like the robots from DARPA or whatever.
Yeah.
Where they just like, you know.
Yep. Okay. So Victor, it's getting towards the 7th day, and you take Aramis's body out of storage, and you lay it down. You like remove his pack from his bag and everything. Lay his weapon, the only weapon left.
You take back Shadow Song.
Yep. And then you kind of like get them all prepped, and you kneel down and start sort of a desperate plea.
When I realized you were gone, I howled, I wailed, I cried, and I bellowed. With all the air in my lungs, I howled, with each ragged breath torn from my chest. I halfway hoped that you would hear me. Howling on the way to the heavens, would you turn back and come back to me? Why am I always left behind? Where is it that everyone goes, leaving me lonely among the living? The gods must be laughing, scoffing, and cruel. I have followed the creed and been made into a weapon, so I must not be meant for peace. I bear an anguish for everything and nothing. A hurt so immense and deep, I don't know if I can contain it. This monster, deep in the pit of my stomach, howls out in the dead of night, calling for more of its ilk. And none resonate in return. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Bolt. Aramis. I'm sorry. Come back. Don't leave me alone again. It's all my fault. I can fix this. I can make this right. Baba Yaga, Zolos, are you listening? Help me make this right.
That's so good, Preston. That's amazing.
Yes. Wonderful.
So as you finish your plea, Aramis's bag falls open, and a red feather flows out of it and lands on the ground near your feet.
He'll kind of reluctantly wait for a moment, and then he'll reach for it and pick it up.
All right, as you pick it up, ignore that. The world whirls around you, spiraling and dissolving away before reforming into a long, dark atrium. Around you are small torches that illuminate small circles of the ground, and inside each of these circles are piles of broken balancing scales. At the far end of the room is a large brazier and a golden fire roaring at its center. A voice calls out from the darkness. Who are you? What are you doing in my domain?
Oh dear.
Zolos, is that you?
Answer my question first.
I am Victor Udonta of the Eight Rings. I come before you at the death of my friend. Aramis, where is he?
Approach the brazier.
I'll approach. And like he'll at this point he's approaching belligerence in his candor.
Yeah. I am indeed Zolos. And your friend is serving me in a new capacity now. Why do you need him?
Why do you need anyone? I'm not... I need to say I'm sorry. His death, it was my fault, and he should not be condemned to your servitude. He should be released to his family, at least. Take me instead. Anything.
I sense the taint of another on you, a wicked creature. Why would I take you when I have such a devoted servant already? Petulant child, you come into my realm and demand things of me? I should strike you down where you stand.
Then do so. There is an emptiness in me that nothing can fill. I feel nothing but vengeance and anger for these people, the ones who did nothing but tear his life apart. My friends, my family, this blood flame serpents, whatever it is that we have been caught up in, it is your doing that we are here. It is your fault that we have gone into these places and been in these places that we never should have been to begin with.
You dare? And the fire blazes to life even further than it has before. You dare blame me for your stupidity, your mistakes?
Yes, the god of broken systems, right? The god of broken promises, the god of vengeance. Where is your vengeance if you're going to do naught but run and hide?
I shall show you my vengeance. And the fire starts like roiling outward and then stops. And then kind of backs off a little bit. As another voice says, I think that's quite enough of that, brother. And around from behind you, you kind of look over your shoulder, and a tiefling walks into view. He's wearing kind of a standard like troubadour's outfit. He's got a lute slung across his back, and he's got red skin, like these sparkling eyes that show like a hint of mischief, and a big long red tail, and kind of the classic curving back horns. And he goes, Victor, how are you? I understand your confusion. I'll get to you in a minute. And as he talks...
at this point, he's going to be like... He went like... He had this build up, and then he's like, huh, what?
All the wind, yep.
Wind out of the sails.
And as he talks, you do notice that his accent seems to be constantly shifting. At one point, it's Irish. At one point, it seems... I mean, obviously, you don't know what the concept of Irish is. At one point, it's Orcish. At one point, it's Elvish.
Oh, is this the same as the...
This is the Traveling Merchant.
Yeah.
It's the Traveling Merchant.
The guy with
Aramis spoke to.
the wheelbarrow full of books or whatever, right?
And he turns and he says, Zolos, my brother, I was the one who called Victor here. And Zolos says, you cannot bring people into my domain. And he turns to you and he goes, Victor, may I see what's in your hand, please?
Am I aware of what's in my hand? Like,
yeah, you look down, like, obviously this is sort of like, almost like a dreamscape, so things aren't really, you're not aware of them until they're made apparent, but you do have that red feather in
I'll be
your
kind
hand.
of clutching it and... Yes.
Thank you. And he takes the red feather and he tosses it onto, like, the steps next to the dais. And the brazier kind of flares with anger again as Zolos says, you would waste one of these on such a pitiful soul as Aramis. And the tiefling gives a little bit of a shrug and he says, I would do what I can to deny you your servant. Until you learn to play by the rules, the others will not be happy with you. And what you have sprung from your belligerent disregard is causing more issues than not. So, until you learn to behave, this is what we do.
Yeah.
And
what he said.
You're like hiding behind
get him. And Zolos kind of gives this big, like, roar of anger. The brazier goes to incredible heights and, like, nearly touches your face, but there's no heat coming from it. It's sort of the heat of a god in a tantrum, that sort of thing. And then it finally calms down and it says, very well, Victor. You have your wish. Aramis is free to move on to his next life. And then the brazier kind of just goes out. There, that wasn't so bad, now was it?
I suppose not. Thank you, friend.
No, of course.
Aramis mentioned you. You're the book salesman.
Yes, I'm many things. You may actually call me Artificer.
Artificer.
Yep.
Okay. And do I remember Artificer from... There was... Last time we talked about...
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
The Moai provided you the information a couple of sessions ago that Artificer and Zolos were great heroes that defeated Asanti, the Serpent of Chaos, and were kind of never heard from again after that, or not in that capacity.
Yes, I've heard of you. This the Moai, they spoke of you, and you are.
Don't you just love the old stories? They're much more grandiose and a lot less drab. It's all about saving princesses and defeating evil gods rather than heroes with complex moralities. Oof.
That's fair. It seems.
Or swordsmen that are caped, or whatever.
History and the sword and the history is, after all, written by the survivor, not.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, I apologize for pulling you into this, Victor. I know that things are very strange for you right now, and this all doesn't make much sense. But I promise you that you are on the right path, and in fact, you're on the correct path to get going to exactly where you need to go. But I need you to make me a promise in exchange for my little trick here.
Yes, anything. Name it.
Excellent.
I must warn you, I am in contract with the Baba Yaga.
That won't be a problem. And he reaches down and he plucks the feather up again, and he starts waving it about. This is one of 5. Actually, that's the third one that I've used. Basically, in a bargain with Zolos, I got 5 feathers that allowed me to override his rule after we made a bet that he lost. I was originally intending to use it directly for Aramis to get him out of the contract and allow him to make his own choices, but apparently he decided to, how do we say, expire. Sorry, it's not very polite.
He's still not beyond saving, I think.
Victor, I understand the need to save your friend, bring him back. But, unfortunately, I believe that the best thing to do in this case would be to let him go. He's free now. He's with his partner, which he never thought he'd be with again.
Is he happy?
And he kind of takes a moment and tilts his head and he says, He's playing the sweet music rather than a dirge. I should know. And he kind of reaches back and plucks the lute. God of songs, after all.
Yes.
So I'll write that down.
Then I will let him be. Let him have his peace that he has finally earned. Not many have that opportunity.
We all do someday.
These feathers, you want... What is it you asking me? You want me to find these feathers?
No. Don't worry about that. You just keep doing what you're doing. Follow that enigmatic character that you have in your party. She's fantastic. Again, kind of a little too crazy for my taste as far as the stories go, but she gets the job done. And she'll be taking you exactly where you need to go to make sure that you are on the correct path. But the favor that I need to ask of you is to stay away from Zolos. Don't call his name anymore. Don't reach out to him. Don't ask him for any favors. Because he's not playing nice. And it's causing more harm than good. You've seen the way that he throws out names for his chosen.
Fair.
Unfortunately, his interference is causing the other side to also be able to interfere more directly, and you can see how much of a problem that is.
I see. But sometimes you, in order to combat the darkness, you must rise to meet them, do you not?
Exactly. But that's for mortals to do. Not mortals asking and begging for gods to help. Zolos' time is long gone. But he will one day find the light, I hope. We shall see. In the meantime, and he takes the feather and he flicks it, and as he does, it shifts and morphs into a feather-like dagger that kind of glimmers with heavenly energy. And he kind of swings it around and presents it to you. I am sure you will find a very proper name for this weapon.
He'll drop to a knee and just...
Thank you. This is I am not deserving of such a gift. I do not have one to give you in return. I am so sorry.
In return, I want you to sing a song when you can. Give me a little tribute, as it were. And remember, your friend may be gone, and he taps the dagger, but there are reminders of him all around you. Now, if you don't mind turning to your left a little bit, and as you kind of like turn to your left, the scene changes and you're back on the ship. So out of game, we do have to address the elephant in the room. Dallin has decided to step away to take care of his family and a bunch of other stuff, so he will not be joining us for the rest of the campaign. We absolutely love him, and we will welcome him back anytime if he wants to do cameos or even the short one-shots. You know, if we could try and bring him back on a fan shot, that would be great. But yeah, we wish him the best of luck. And for now, we will continue.
Dallin,
Thank you so much.
You so much.
And for now, we'll continue with our party as is. Okay. So, now that we're through
So
with
if he was your
that,
favorite,
yeah, please don't
pick
leave.
another one.
Can I see that book? The dagger that you just received, by the
Sorry.
way. You're fine.
Slim pickings now, but
We all know it's Torrey.
Yeah, we all
not.
know that.
it's not. No.
I mean, sorry, it's Shep, then it's Torrey.
Yeah, well, obviously. Shep comes first.
This is a legendary dagger. A Heaven's Edge dagger. And I'll hand it over to you once it's done and we can make copies and such and put it up. But this ornate dagger is made of multi-pieces of magically hovered together. It's a feather-like dagger. It looks like a feather. You gain a +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this magic weapon, which deals an extra 2d4 radiant damage to any creature it hits. This extra damage increases to 44 radiant if the creature is a fiend or undead. When you roll a 20 on an attack roll made with this weapon against a fiend, the target must succeed on a DC 15 charisma saving throw. On a failed save, the creature is banished, as if by the banishment spell. This version of the spell doesn't require concentration, but ends early if you become incapacitated or die within the next minute.
DC is based. It's flat. It's not based. On anything.
It's not based off anything. And then on a successful save, the creature is blinded until the start of your next turn and is advantaged. So that is the Heaven's Edge right there. That is from the new Griffin Saddlebag Book 2 that I finally got the physical copy in. I'm so excited to use it. Now let's talk about the next thing that happens. At the end of the week, help arrives with dramatic flair. 1 minute, the people of Aldros are talking among themselves and enjoying a quiet day. The next, a rush of air and a sonic boom knocks them down as an airship appears in the sky over Arconis. Basically, literally not like driving into the edge of Arconis and then flying in normally, like full on, like, yeah, basically like slams into existence.
What was it, the Star Trek one, the movie? Didn't they fly into the atmosphere and just like
yeah,
and then everything?
It is basically like a Kelvin versus Star Trek.
Yeah, or Battlestar Galactica where they jump and they just like pop into place.
The people of Aldros collect themselves and begin hustling inside as alarms ring out from the city, and a squadron of Wyvern riders flies up to meet the airship a minute later.
Fear not, good people, I will protect you as my good deed. Remember, Fred the Savior. No? Okay, we'll keep workshopping.
Everybody's like scattering. And you're just after a minute or so, as you kind of like ready yourself for whatever comes next, the airship begins to move again, and the wyverns kind of fly off. A couple of them seem to be escorting it down towards the docks, and the alarms stop. And it looks like it's heading directly for the dock right across from the Wayward Wanderer. And in fact, you recognize this ship. Especially when you see the name. The name on the side is the Mnemonic Response, which is an old Arcanum airship.
Yes.
Good old Callie Togs.
So,
are you on in the town square?
Unless you start heading back now.
I'll start heading back.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I assume that this for me.
He's reading to orphans, obviously.
Yes.
Well, Fred, we have company.
They told you many times they actually have a family, but you just kept going like, "Oh, the poor orphans."
Not for adoption.
Like we're literally their
not
parents.
For adoption. Not available for adoption.
Don't forget.
The littlest hopes have been franchising into Arconis already.
Absolutely.
So as you two arrive back at the Wayward Wanderer, John is on the top deck, just kind of watching the ship come in. Morbid is still off doing business elsewhere. He's not quite around at this time. And as you see the Mnemonic Response pull into the water and kind of settle in itself, it's about the same size as the Wayward Wanderer, so they're equal in magnitude.
Tonnage.
Majesty.
Size.
Majesty.
Mass.
I was going for majesty. Yeah.
Thick with 3 C's.
Majesty.
But people are already on the move on the top deck as it lands. In fact, the gangplank comes down, and Callie Togs, which you've heard of her. Roll me a d20. Let's see if you actually met her. We'll say 10 or above, and you've met her. If you're knocking off the table, you tried to kill her.
Fred, as she's running to the
You've never met her personally, but you've heard about basically the head of R&D. Yeah. Wow. And she comes down the gangplank wearing like a long coat and her signature like miniaturized ballista on her back. Behind her are a couple figures that Fred doesn't know because you weren't here for this. But Victor, they're not ones that you expected. The golden-skinned tiefling, we got 2 tieflings this episode, with kind of the arching horns and the half-moon spectacles, Madame Talvain, starts walking down the stairs. And behind her is her arcane simulacrum construct, Wynn. And Wynn is carrying a large, like, 5.5 to 6 foot box. That almost looks like a coffin.
Welcome, and I'll try and calm the people around. And it's okay. Well, please don't be alarmed. And if the guards start coming up, I'll just
the Wyvern rider
like wave their attention, like
lands
it's
down.
Okay. Like,
we heard they were with you.
I'm sorry for the disruption. We've been waiting very eagerly for them to come. These are our friends. They mean you no harm, right? I'll gesture to them as they're coming.
They all shake their heads. No, none at all. We're all.
This is the Mnemonic Response. We are also from Aneria.
Welcome to Aldros. Just pay the dock fees. Don't cause any trouble.
And don't fly in town. That's bad.
Yes. This one knows.
Yes.
And he just narrows his eyes and like grabs the hoop of his saddle on the wyvern that takes off, and he just like flies off while glaring at you.
It was amazing. What an exit.
And then one other figure does come down the gangplank. He's a little late, but he's got purple and blue robes, and he has 2 symbols around his neck. One is the holy symbol of Davros, and the other is the Arcanum symbol. And he just comes stumbling down a bit. You've never seen this man before. He's bald, kind of got a little bit of a beard. He looks like your standard, like, old cleric-y type. You know? Yeah.
The old baldy, beardy guys.
Exactly.
Seen one, he's seen them all.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Callie's the first down, and she kind of takes like a power stance, puts her hands on her hips, and she goes, "Well, where is he? Where are they? Sorry. Who said I was talking about Bolt? Maybe we're doing Aramis first."
Come this way. Don't worry about Aramis.
What? We brought a cleric just for that purpose.
I appreciate it very much. I get the feeling that he's okay. That I'm not sure we want to spend our resources bringing him back.
Well, that's absolutely no problem for me. I'm more than happy to go wander this town and spread the good word of Davros.
Just a one word of warning. If you go out of town, your magic won't work. It's pretty drab here, and if you go outside the town, you're basically gonna die, so don't do it.
Oh, don't worry. I have plenty of protection. And he grabs the holy symbol of the sun god and kind of wanders off. He does stop, and he looks over and he goes, "Ma'am?"
Yes, if you do any good deeds, be sure to tell them that Fred sent you. Thank you.
All good deeds go to the sun gods, but I'll make sure that you are given an honorable mention.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And he just walks away.
He's like out there, he's curing the sick, and he's like, "Oh, praise be to Davros." And Fred.
You know him? Is he a friend of yours?
Never met him before.
Seems a little stuffy.
He is one of the new Children of Davros faction that spawned from the Arcanum.
Oh, we're away for like 2 weeks. Look what happens.
Man.
Actually,
Cults.
there was that meeting that you guys didn't go to.
Yeah.
That was also a.
What about Aneria? I mean, she's cooler. But
I'm afraid that nobody wants to worship a dead god. Speaking of which, your companion Aloma sent me a message. He's no longer with you, but he did want me to send along his regards as well.
Excellent. If you see him again, tell him
Of
that
course.
that we wish
I
him well.
don't believe that we have met.
This is Fred. Fred.
Winifred Bloodbane at your service.
Bloodbane, as in champion Bloodbane?
No relation. Well, actually, he's my father, but I don't claim him.
That's all right. He's kind of an ass.
I agree.
Yes.
I think we'll get along fabulously.
I am Madame Talvain. It is a pleasure to meet you. I run a bookshop in Salsport for children.
Children?
Yes.
Have you ever run into any orphans?
Every now and then we do.
Any
There's an orphanage.
dragon orphans?
I'm afraid there are no dragons in Aneria.
No,
It's actually one of the reasons why I came. I was very interested to see.
I'm going to get a dragon orphan.
Listen, if you need to get an audience with a dragon, she can tell you the best way to get there.
I really could. I've got quite a close relationship with the one and only
First thing you got to do.
Nyrod the Glimmering.
Attack 2 guards.
Try and kill
I very much would like to meet him if there was time. If you can arrange an audience, that is.
Absolutely. I've got a rapier steeping in the hoard right now, so I'd like to check on it anyway.
Of course. And, this is Wynn. They are my construct companion and bodyguard.
Then, Callie, you also look well. I'm glad to see you again.
Good to see you too. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go check on my friend.
This way, I'll take you.
Yeah. Oh, nice to meet you, Fred.
I'll
Thank you,
take
yes.
over and then you guys can.
Madame Talvain says, perhaps another time I should also attend to the matter for which we're here.
Of course, of course.
Yes. It was wonderful to meet you.
Likewise.
And she goes gracefully moving back up the other gangplank towards the other ship. So you get up to the top and you call Bolt out. Or at least their corpse out. Their shell, I think is what we said. Yeah.
Shell.
Bolt,
That's the nice
stand
word.
forth.
Oh no. Okay, give me 10 minutes to kind of look this over, and then I'll explain why we have Madame Talvain here.
Excellent. I will leave you to it. Let me know if you need anything.
Right. And she kind of, she spends the next 10 minutes kind of like reaching into Bolt in various places, kind of checking things, doing diagnostics, that sort of thing.
Not where you think there's no butthole.
Yeah, there's no butthole, you can't.
There's a butt flap that comes down, and she's like,
Yep. And she does call both Fred and Victor over after the 10 minutes done. She
like
does,
you're a farmer.
Yeah.
So I've
Birthing a cow.
got bad news and I've got good news.
let's take the bad news first, right? That's the way you're supposed to do it.
I don't know.
Well, I put them in the order that I want to tell them.
Both at the same time.
Is that possible?
Not from me. The bad news is I cannot fix Bolt and bring him back as he is.
Yes, we know. His spark, their spark is missing.
Yes.
She never messes up. Ever.
I didn't just mess up either.
I corrected myself.
Yes.
It's a little bit more complicated than that. Recently, they went through a change where they lost a lot of what makes a Warforged a Warforged. It's sort of a specific design that allows them to connect the mechanical with the biological, or at least something similar to it, something organic. But they are pure construct now. The only thing that was keeping them in their body was being alive. But it's so much trauma dislodged their spirit of sorts, and their soul core can't reconnect back to the original body. The only person that I know that could probably repair the body is Quinn, and we don't know where he is.
Do we know how to contact him?
We've been trying. I know I have, and I know that Bolt has spent 2 years trying to get a signal out as well.
I remember him...
No, hold on. Before I metagame.
No, you?
Did you say it? Tell us about it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You did tell us about it?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have told
You
you,
went out
about
in space and...
how the Madrid?
Yeah.
The Marid.
Marid.
The Marid teleported me out to the
This was a...
astral plane.
It was a water genie. He gave them each wish, and he said that he wanted to get a message out, and so he was teleported to the astral plane. And
then like my chest opened up and my soul core went,
Like the homing beacon
Yep.
thing.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
and then I got teleported back.
I have another idea. I could use my chalice, see if I can maybe get the message out. I don't know if it will help.
If...
I have an idea too. You finish yours.
No, what would you have?
Okay, what if we did this? We find the soul, Bolt's soul. Right?
I mean,
That's still somewhere.
I know where it is. And she taps on Bolt's chest and opens up, and the soul core kind of pulls out a little bit. It's in there. It just can't connect.
Bolt! Perfect! So we take that, and we can still keep both our friends. We put it inside of Aramis.
That's horrifying.
I think that's awesome. Victor's just...
That's absolutely
You're
horrifying.
like, I was already got the daggers out. He's like, okay.
do you think that would work? I mean...
It wouldn't.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
It wouldn't. However, you're on the right track, which brings me to the good news.
Excellent.
Apparently, Madame Talvain here has been working on another arcane simulacrum. And she waves a hand at Wynn as well, that kind of as an example. For you guys as sort of a servant, if I'm not mistaken, as like a thank you for rescuing her, Victor.
Yeah,
I guess.
I recall.
Yeah. The body's almost ready. We could put the core in there.
So you think it's perhaps this body is too damaged and that would work better?
This body will only work as the soulless construct you see before you. I'd rather have my friend back, even if it's in a different form.
I agree. I will understand anything. That sounds horrible, being trapped in your own body. And is he aware and have consciousness of what's around him?
I couldn't say.
I hope not.
We could
I've
find
said
out.
some pretty dark things. But
Like what? Give us one. I'm just kidding. You don't have to.
A unicorn, but it's inside out.
Yeah.
That's pretty dark.
No.
We can use this body that Madame Talvain has been constructing, and we can put Bolt in it until a time that he could find Quinn and restore his original form, or if he prefers, or if they prefer the new one, they can stay there.
Would he have his own memories and be himself?
They would be.
Dang it.
You were all doing it.
You fixed it.
Yeah.
I broke.
I mean, they would. It's still their soul core, still their soul.
I'd say let's do it.
Not Merid.
The Moai believed that there was a way to fix him, and I think this is probably our best chance of success in the near term.
I'm sorry, what's a Moai?
Oh, you have missed much. There was this little construct.
Is he around?
Yeah, Hafis is probably down in the cargo bay, yeah.
Hey, Fizz, come here. We have some visitors. Like you to meet.
Okay. And a few moments later, Hafis comes up in his worker form, which is like a slim crystal with some like metal pieces floating around it and electric, like spider-like legs, almost not like actual spider legs, but like little electric tendrils that he like crawls around on.
Hey, Fizz, I want to meet our friends here, Callie, Miss Talvain, and or Madame Talvain, and Wynn.
It's lovely to meet you all. Is there a specific reason I am
She
here?
wished to know what the Moai was, and I figured the best way is to show.
Of course. And Callie says, I'm very interested in this Moai, but I do want to make sure we get Bolt taken care of before
Yes.
Oh, is there an expiration date?
The longer they are within their soul core, it could degrade. Their mind could...
Then why didn't you say that sooner? Let's get this going.
A matter of minutes isn't going to be a problem, but a matter of hours.
What about like 7 days? We're like pushing
Yes,
it here.
if this happens again, is there something we should do? Perhaps like put it on ice? Or in an incubator? I don't really know.
So if it happens again in their...
Like put it in a cooler hole of ice.
if it happens again in the body that we're going to be putting Bolt into... you should be able to call to them the same way you would call to a spirit with like a priest and bring them back. It's just the fact that the construct body that Bolt is using right now cannot connect with the soul core. That's the problem. So it would be a simple matter of finding someone like, I don't know, what was the guy's name?
Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
Something like that. Exactly. The same kind of concept. But in this case, it's just calling out, like, you could get somebody like Thalman that we brought with us to try and call out to his spirit through the power of the gods, that sort of thing.
So maybe one of us could be trained in the power of the gods.
Yes, the power of Tepkek.
I mean...
Wait.
New god! Yes!
How do you spell that?
PEBCAC. It's problem exists between keyboard and chair. It's an acronym. But it can be a god now.
Or like the Baba Yaga.
It's an IT term, and if anyone goes, yeah, that sounds like a PEBCAC to you and you're saying something, it's probably just them saying, hey.
It's Pepkak, the god of tech
misfortune.
The god of misfortune.
The god of misfortune.
Yeah. I like it.
The main goblin god.
And we can spell it differently.
What's Pepkak backwards?
No, it's spelled exactly.
What is Pepkak backwards?
Cacbeb.
Pepkak.
Problem exists between chair and keyboard.
Yeah, so PEBKAC.
CAK.
I have always done it KAC.
Or keyboard and chair, yeah, either way. KAC, CAK, whichever you want to do.
Let's do CAK just because it looks better on. Yeah.
But it is a god. Weird names.
That's true.
I've always used the ID10T.
ID10T, yeah.
It's spelled both ways.
Have you seen that?
In fact,
No.
the goblins have a very fierce, like, war, like holy war, over which way it's supposed to be spelled, Scott. That is the only that is the only distinction, is the goblins fought a war about it. Okay. You might be able to be trained. I think it takes a long time to ingratiate yourself to a divine being and get the power necessary.
Divine.
You know, that's funny because there is a person in our group that
divine.
does know how to bring people back to life. They just happen to be dead at the moment.
Yeah.
That's true.
Perhaps he could help us in this. Is there any way we might be able to we're thinking like outside the box, you alright? Can you put like our mind in his mind or something and have like a astral experience or something? And he can show us how, right? Or do you know? If you know, that's probably easier.
And she just kind of like turns and looks at Madame Talvain. Madame Talvain gives like a little shrug and she goes, I think we're getting a little off topic here.
That's fair. We do that when Bolt's not around.
And when Bolt's
I can
around.
see.
And
All
when
the
Bolt's
time.
around.
Just all
Doesn't
the time.
matter, really.
When Bolt's around, we just get in trouble.
You just get. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
We hate disappointing him.
Madame
It's
Talvain,
unavoidable.
if you would. And she waves a hand to Wynn, who comes over and places the large crate that they've been carrying on the ground. They peel away the top of the coffin,
I thought that would be a coffin for Aramis.
and it can serve two purposes.
No.
And inside is a arcane simulacrum, much as Wynn is, which Wynn is kind of a teal-skinned, like smooth, almost waxy look to them. And Scott, would you describe a little bit about what this new body looks like?
Yeah.
And then I will send the picture over as well, because we do have a picture.
The body.
Oh, I was gonna log in.
It has
Make
no
sure I got
skin.
everything right.
And he has a children's TV show.
Yes.
Yes.
His body
Wearing
is completely
a
inside out.
Call me
Unitard.
Slim Goodbody.
slim good body, baby.
So this is also blue skinned or blue in color, but it's kind of like a dark, leaning more towards like the black spectrum, like dark blue, kind of almost a gray. But there are arcane like etchings and lines all over the body that is they're kind of like the. Well, right now they don't have any color to them, but they're just like indented in. And then I would imagine its eyes are closed at this point.
Yes.
So.
Yep. Very human features. As
Bald,
it goes.
human features.
It's probably about as slim as Bolt is outside of their armor.
Well, Bolt is really tall, and this one's probably not that tall.
So right now he's just kind of, there's no color in his face, like dead vision kind of thing.
The eyes are, well, actually, the eyes are probably open. It's a construct, right?
Okay. Yeah. If they're open, the eyes are. They're just kind of a dull blue, but they're lifeless at this point. And you can see that here.
Yes.
Here.
We've got that.
This does. It looks like a blue vision.
A little bit. So as far as they're gonna see it.
That's just terrifying.
It's just
It's over
Looks like those creepy, like a zombie.
You
Ew.
know when you're like watching and like watch for the ghost and it's the car and then it jumps out at you. Yeah.
So Wynn picks up the body, which is about the same size as they are, and sets it on the ground, moves the crate out of the way. Madame Talvain comes over and she conjures a small little chest that hits the ground. She opens it up and pulls out I believe it's a rod?
This is the same chest that she
Indeed.
has
Is
used in the past.
it wearing anything?
It's wearing, we'll just say it's wearing like a tunic. Kind of a standard, simple tunic.
Okay.
We figured it would probably be better not to have Bolt be naked when they awaken. This is a
My favorite way to wake up.
crystal
Modesty
rod
patches.
that she pulls out, and she finishes up the last of like the incantations and spells that she needs, and then turns to Callie and nods, and Callie grabs the soul core and yanks it out. The construct bolt kind of deactivates and falls backwards. The armor does. Right, should have sat him down first. The armor does like disconnect from the body at this point because you are truly gone now.
Yeah.
And she walks it over and she goes, "Now, do we just put it in the chest again, or should we put it somewhere else? Do you want a chest core? Do you want a head core? Do you want
Hardcore.
hardcore? Armpit.
And live hardcore.
That was a joke for me, apparently.
Decisions.
Because the head core would be. We already had the vision comparison, and the head core.
I think I want it in the chest still.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be obviously behind any kind
No,
of.
it'd just be kind of embedded.
Yeah.
In. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Callie undoes like the few little like straps that all tunics have, you know, that take it from like modest peasant to outlander. Yeah. And she's gonna take the soul core.
Did you carve chest hair into this?
All the little like intricate designs
smooth that out. That's dumb.
are circles, little spirals.
That's all the little swirls.
Yep.
Wind starts like shifting uncomfortably, like
Yeah, they're getting a little hot under the collar.
wind has like carved this like love win on the side.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
And she's gonna take it and she's gonna push it like into
Because
the mage's
you said the
chest.
bodies are made out of like almost like this clay-like.
It's kind of like a
right?
well, so it's malleable, but it's also tough, right? Almost like skin.
Non-Newtonian fluid.
Sort of, yeah, like a non-Newtonian fluid.
Yeah,
would
when
be
I sleep,
great.
I just go into like a puddle, and then when I wake up,
You're a plasmoid now. Enjoy it.
I won't be speaking in puns. Don't worry.
And
Well, at least not for everything.
I'm not worried. I'm looking
I
forward
was
to it.
like, you do say love puns,
Yeah,
Scott.
yeah.
That's just you.
And Madame Talvain puts her hand on your forehead, or on the body's forehead. It's going to be yours in a moment here. We all know what's happening. And Callie puts her hand on the soul core, and together they both start like chanting some sort of magic that really is kind of going over.
Dracorum.
Yeah.
Something satis thee. That's from Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And yeah, let's go ahead
What I
and
thought of was Schlemiel. Laverne and Shirley.
oopsie mazy, oopsie daisy, oopsie daisy. Yeah. We're going with random ones from shows. Scott, this is a question that I have to ask because you are being resurrected. Do you answer the call?
Yes, I do.
Kick thunk to the curb and welcome
And
back.
delete.
Yep.
Bolt's getting a new body.
So
Getting a new body.
the intricate designs along the skin start filling up with rusty red until
From emanating like from
Yep.
the soul cord.
until finally they hit the eyes and they flash like that evil red color. That
I literally take a breath.
yeah,
Like,
and then they flash
Actually
to a
inhale.
normal cool blue.
Wait.
Victor, Aramis.
Happy birthday!
Callie, or Bolt. Sorry, I'm Callie. She's basically like sitting on your stomach at this point
Yeah.
because she's halfling, right?
Yeah.
She's like,
Rebirth day.
breathe.
Happy rebirth day.
Happy rebirthday!
You are
On
okay.
birthday.
Happy unbirthday.
Welcome back.
What happened?
Wait,
A lot.
you took in a breath. Are you a person now? Turn around.
Show us the ball.
You have to subscribe to my OnlyFans. Yeah, sorry.
$5 months on Patreon. You're gonna
Yep. No.
That's it? $5?
Bolt hole.
see bolt hole. Yep, the ball hole.
The bolt hole. Is there one? I have to know.
A lot has happened.
Fred will subscribe.
Yes. A lot has happened. Victor will explain in a moment. But first, you need to know that you have a temporary body.
I look over and see
Yep.
myself.
Don't freak out.
Do freak out. I want to see it.
I would very much like to know what happened. Please.
Yes, you.
I think he needs a stiff drink first.
That's true. That's true.
I
Can
could
he?
stand one too.
But he just got born. You're not supposed. There's drinking age. Are you the right drinking age? Can I see your ID?
He's like 1 minute old, so
Well, I see
yes.
not everything has changed when I've been gone.
Yeah.
No, not everything. You
Callie,
probably-
Wynn, and Madame Tavain are going to bow out and go speak to Hafis while you guys
They're like,
discuss these super serious
Bolt,
topics.
listen, you probably want to sit down for this, but
I'm currently laying down.
good.
But here, I'll sit up.
You might want to sit up for this.
You and Aramis
Died.
died.
It was Victor's fault. Actually,
Oh,
not.
it was. Yes.
That's too soon.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I
Too soon.
remember.
I don't deal well with
I remember my
humor. Is my coping mechanism.
Mine too.
Everybody's.
minus buttresses.
Well, I'm glad he is still the
You like
same.
turn towards the Sea of the Dragon and just go.
I'm calm now.
Continue with what you were going to say.
I remember fighting in a room full of people, and some creature, some big creature with scythe arms. Oh, that's weird. And my mind
I'll start poking them.
felt. Stop that.
I'll poke them.
My mind felt muddled. And the next thing I know, I was seeing black. That's.
You were held. As far as I could tell, there was some kind of magical interference. You wouldn't move. I went unconscious, and when I awoke, Aramis was above me, protecting me, and then he fell, and
So
we got here. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
And you got out.
Yes, I ran.
So I failed you. And Aramis. Where is Aramis?
He's
In the freezer.
yeah.
We've got to clean out the freezer by tomorrow morning because the Jersey Board of Health.
I can. She's totally singing that too.
This is definitely
They're
Fred
not
singing.
buying the line that dead nuns rise and shine.
Let's circle back around to that.
We have a free spot. I might have to separate you two.
I'm sorry.
Is Aramis also dead?
Yes.
And have you tried to...
We were going to bring him back, but I had I don't know what to call it, an experience with Zolos and Alandra, get the name, it's Orthias, and he said that Aramis was with his partner now, and I don't think we should bother him. He has finally found peace, and bringing him back here, I'm sure, would only aggravate Zolos further. I might have riled him up a bit.
So
I even tried. I found a man named Mad Max, got a secret pill coated in chocolate, shoved it into his mouth, filled him up with a bellows.
It's true.
Didn't work.
You're pretty sure you just got fleeced.
Yeah.
Now that you think about it.
No, I heard it too. When he breathed out, he breathed something to blade or something.
No,
I'm
true
not
love.
sure which. I heard to blade, pretty sure.
To blade.
Which, of course, we all know means to bluff.
To bluff. Yeah, he was gambling, but he wasn't gambling. He was bluffing. Anyway, he.
So you tried.
The
You tried to
chocolate pill
bring.
didn't work.
You tried to bring Aramis back.
We were going to, yes, but I feel that he's in a much better place than he would be here. He's with his family.
Well, I am sorry. I wish I would have been stronger for both of you. And you aren't arrested anymore.
Oh no. Nyrot and I are on very good terms, actually. Would you like to meet him?
Yes, that figures that you would get arrested and then become friends with a dragon. I should expect this. I don't know why I don't.
It's the crown. She's basically a princess or a queen or something.
I like the sound of that. It's the crown.
Gods help us all. So, how did you... Callie.
Yes. We called out to them. I contacted them, let them know that we were in dire need of help, and they came. They brought, well, you, the new you, for the time being, and she said that we might be able to repair, the body over here, if you want. We can. It seems that your soul core was somehow rejecting it.
And I'll be like...
For what it's worth,
Very exposed now.
I think this is a great housing.
I am going to stand up and take a few, shaky steps to get my bearings.
Mhm.
And be like,
You're definitely shorter than you were before.
it appears you have all grown.
Thank you. I do feel like
I think you're all the same size, actually.
pranked.
Oh, it's so good to be back.
Emotionally, though, we've grown emotionally.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Angry at
Well,
certain
Victor
things
has.
and sad at some things. Yeah, gross. Grow.
So that means if we go downstairs to Morbin's room, there's not going to be a bunch of scorpions in his bed?
I said Victor has grown.
Well, I've mostly just been moping, but
And you guys got the ship back.
yes. Actually, Mr. John Bromsman here was a pretty fast thinker when I was.
Oh, there you are.
Hey!
I think he's leveled up to using a quarterstaff. We've been practicing a little bit.
It's true, actually. The past 7 days, I've been getting really good with it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
you
no
for
problem.
bringing the
Welcome
ship
back.
Every
Actually, technically, you brought the ship back.
Yeah.
Or at least your body did? I don't really know
you
how it
drove
works.
back. Your body was in kind of like a stasis.
This is incredibly strange.
It was actually
It's
kind of fun.
very-
We got to boss them around.
For a chance, yeah. But it was kind of like talking to someone who had like lost their memories, dementia, or
So, like I was when I
old
first
timers
got
or
to
something.
Aneria.
Probably worse. You didn't even talk.
No, it's called dementia, old timers. You know.
Old timers.
Yes.
Old timers.
Alzheimer's disease, yeah.
Yes,
Yes, I know it's Alzheimer's.
precisely.
Don't come at me in the comments. I'm saying it on
He's being
purpose.
silly. So, about the butthole, do you have one? I'm
Here, you forgot.
I don't know. Give me a few minutes. I'm going to go to my room.
Go to your room.
I'll come back and be like,
Do you
Nope,
need a series
no.
of mirrors?
We're good there on that front.
You need a drink.
I'm sorry, yes or no?
No.
Oh.
You need a stiff drink.
We're not anatomically correct.
No.
Last shot of rock hopper.
Oh, wait.
It burns going down.
Good. Right.
I can taste again.
Actually, it tastes different than before, like more intense than usual.
I can really taste. I'm going to down the whole thing.
Yeah. Definitely burns.
I'd lost some of my senses earlier, but now this body seems to have.
You mean with the old body?
It's very squishy.
That's how I feel. See?
Yeah, and I will
And
like.
Fred.
And I'll like,
I will like compare. Like,
Don't
Yeah.
touch me.
yeah.
The eye stalks are just like.
Right.
You poke one of the eyes
My
and
bad,
it's like
my bad.
like a snail eye.
Yeah.
Ah, that hurt.
forgot they had feelings.
It's pretty much the same consistency as human skin. Maybe a little like more malleable, but not like incredibly malleable. Yeah.
like silly putty. I can like slap onto stuff and be like, now I can read it.
Yeah, we need a map.
Robin
Perfect.
Williams and was it Millennial Man? When he was the biotic.
Bicentennial Man?
Bicentennial Man, that's the one.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, he has like rubbery skin when he was making
Yeah,
his face.
like you got like Jim Carrey style rubber face, you know.
The mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also a trickster god now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And a xenomorph.
So as far as mechanically goes, you're still a Warforged.
Okay.
You are back to being a normal Warforged rather than the voltaic steel version.
Okay.
How much did it cost to get that?
So I do not have lightning resistance anymore.
Yeah, not current.
Was it done as a personal favor? I know the homunculus or the
I'm gonna take a long rest.
Yeah,
Go
everybody can take a long
full
rest, actually.
HP.
yes.
I think 500 gold would be fine, just for the typical
feel-
costs.
Exposed. I'm gonna go over and actually start putting on my armor off of my old body.
Which, donning
Like
your
looting his own
armor...
body.
It is very odd.
That's got to be really weird looting your own body.
It is really weird as I'm like putting it on. I can hear
Was that
you.
insensitive? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's 500 gold because it hasn't been 10 days yet.
Okay.
500
gold. Got it. I'll mark that down.
Yes. Pay them.
Pay the man. Wait, pay the... Whoever is taking this wound.
50
Who knows?
Platinum. Roll move.
All right, where are you? Arcane armor.
Oh, there's supposed to be a
let's
penalty
see.
on raised dead. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not doing that right now.
What?
You don't have your big toe.
It says, coming back from the dead is an ordeal. The target takes a -4 penalty to all attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks. And every time you take a long rest, it's reduced by 1 until it disappears.
Okay with that.
Okay. There you go. So you are weakened at this point. You're getting used to your new body, as it were.
Yep.
You're
'Cause
aerial
technically-
with a new set of legs.
This could also be considered like...
I can doff or don the armor as an action, so I can put on really fast. But
Yeah. I would say like you reach down and the armor basically like flows onto you until finally it's surrounding you again.
And then it's like I'm wearing my dad's suit, and it kind of like starts shrinking to fit the new form.
Wait! I didn't know it could do that. We could have been wearing it this whole time.
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. Usually...
Let me try.
Here, you can try a glove.
The glove kind of like sits on your hand for a moment and then just like pops off.
Hey.
Yep. An armorer's armor cannot be worn by others.
It's
Well,
almost like a
disappointing.
second
It
skin.
really is. I'm just saying, in case you die again,
Please don't. It
I
is very traumatic.
wouldn't there be a way you could
Again, Victor, I am
Gift.
sorry.
your armor to us?
I am sorry I could not protect you or Aramis.
I'm sorry for running. It was cowardly.
No. It sounds like you did what you needed to survive. I don't think I would be here if you didn't.
Likewise, if you, without getting too sappy, I would have missed you.
I'm feeling very uncomfortable right now.
We would have missed you too if you had not been there.
Would you have missed
Obviously.
me?
Of course.
Good.
I'm your
Yeah.
best man
See, I told you.
at the wedding.
We need to revisit the whole
Oh
clause
right,
about
I forgot all about that.
We need to revisit the whole thing about us not running away and the bylaws. We need to remove that part.
Yeah, you put that in there though.
Yeah, because it's
So-
not honorable to run away if you're stabbed in the back and die being it's
Sure,
coward.
but it's better to run away and live.
See, this is why I don't sign any contracts.
Well, you don't have to worry. Apparently, my contracts are all null and void.
Only according to the Fae.
That's fair.
And what's her name? I can't remember her
The
name.
Baba Yaga.
No, Leah.
Oh.
Leah Horneth? Yeah.
Yeah, Horneth.
And Leah. And most of Aneria. We should have you take some courses when we get back.
Yes.
A notary course. Something.
I do think we should sit and talk a little bit about tactics so that this kind of stuff doesn't happen in the future.
Probably a good idea.
Apparently, I have some shortcomings that I will work to try to overcome, but in the
It's the
meantime,
buttress talk.
Are we having an intervention?
do you not like the...
I just think it's a little bit much.
I-
It's like every buttress, you're like
mean-
drooling.
It's kind of
It's
an acquired
embarrassing,
taste, right? I turn to John, right?
John, back us up here. It's awkward, right? Every buttress.
Oh, look, that deck needs swapping.
I'll help you.
He tosses you a mop.
But,
Buttress. Yes.
I look over at the ones at the dragon. The Cappy place. It's a museum. It's just a museum full of buttresses, like paintings of them,
Don't
and
look
like.
very good under my skin. Don't look very good under my skin.
But where I fall short, you can pick up, and vice versa.
Yes.
Like
I think I'm not the tank.
I was-
know you guys rely on me to tank a lot, but
we don't, and we've never said this ever.
you haven't.
No,
No.
Well, that's my.
We've
This
always-
whole time
we've
I've
always
had this
told you.
pressure on
We've
me,
always
like-
told you to stay out of the line of fire.
Oh,
If you all had waited for me, I cannot die, and if you're around me, you'll be safe.
You were imprisoned.
No.
She has
You
a
were
point.
talking with the dragon.
We
Yes.
died the one time we died.
But we
she
didn't know
wasn't
that.
there.
Best friend forever.
So I mean, it tracks what she says.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't argue with that yet.
So far, the facts are
You know-
irrefutable.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the first time that I have died. Actually. It was a very,
So you
very
cannot
long-
die either.
Well, I mean, you saw.
Exactly.
If I didn't have good friends to bring me back, I would not be here.
When you lost your memory or something different?
Before that. That, I guess you could argue that was a sort of the death, but
Man, I need to up my game. When I die, I just die.
no,
I've heard that you have almost died several times.
Yes.
So maybe, perhaps you cannot die either. None of us can die.
let's not go that far.
The DM's listening. Don't.
Well, the last time people started saying that, 2 people died. I don't know what to tell you.
It was a very long time ago, and I ran afoul of a godlike being, and
What?
they kind of exploded me
I love this juicy gossip.
and scattered me across my home.
I've never been exploded before.
It's not pleasant.
Would you like to? I can make it happen.
Rocks
No,
fall
thank
and you explode.
I will pass on that. Thank you, though.
Again, whenever I imagine a conversation between Fred and the DM, it's always everybody else is just hearing one side of it.
Yeah.
Who is she talking to? John's over there.
You can't hear that voice?
I think it's the
No.
crown. It's the crown.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
He's very clever.
The crown is very clever. Okay.
Are we supposed to endorse it, or are we supposed to, like... Yes, the crown is very funny.
Not the crown. Whatever.
Yes, I
I'm not
was,
sure what to do with this mental illness.
and then scattered.
Nobody ever knows what to do with their mental illness.
I mean, clerics could help. They've got something to like cure the mind of ailments, right?
It's called Just Don't Be Sad. It's a cantrip.
Yes. If only. Holy crap, that'd be amazing.
I
Oh, man,
it's
I'm
a heartbeat.
salty. I love it.
I'm depressed.
The toxic,
Don't be sad.
Yeah.
Oh, that works. Sweet.
Cured.
I'm anxious. Don't be anxious.
Now you owe me
Relax.
$1,000
Yeah.
bucks.
Druids have a cantrip too.
Thing that's made-
It's called touch grass. It also makes you happy.
touch grass.
They just grow grass
Touch
from your
grass.
hand. Here you
Yep.
go.
No, I thought you meant Kendrick grass.
They practice toxic positivity.
It can double as both,
Yeah.
right? But, for example, back to the tactics.
Yes, what are the tactics? I like calling it that rather than rules.
Rules of engagement. Fighting.
Yes.
Well,
Art of war.
while I was
Oh,
disposed
miserably
of,
long book.
there, if I recall, and can I remember most of the fight up
Yeah.
to that point?
Yeah.
If I recall, there was some mages casting spells, and that was causing me to not be able to move.
Do you want me to punch them?
Yes, the next time that one of them casts a spell that gets any one of us under, I think we should all try to.
I agree.
Okay,
Prevent
so
that.
tactic number 1.
I need to
The
go
wizards die first.
Yes.
in. Now I need to
Wizard.
go
Go
in.
for the healers.
I need to go in to the back line where I'm exposed, but I'm not supposed to tank.
Well, so for example, that particular fight, I was trying to take the attention of the big guy,
Oh, okay.
but I couldn't because I was paralyzed.
That's fair. And I was stuck with the giant lobster.
Yeah. I mean, I can see why those would look like a tempting target.
Yeah, I was pretty hungry when I did it.
So I'm sorry, tactic number 2 is eat lobster? I'm confused.
Before the fight, yes. Everyone should be well fed, so we have plenty of
Okay.
energy.
You know, I tried to get some like crab for food. It didn't work out too well. I need more practice on the hook shot.
Keep practicing, you'll get it.
Yeah.
maybe that'll be your next level.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
You could become a swashbuckler.
You've leveled up.
Little bit of Fred coming out of the bolt there. Little remainder from being dead for a while there.
Yeah.
But
basically, I just want to go over like you know, because I've given this a lot of thought since then about like what we could have done differently. I mean, and obviously having an extra person would have been even better, but
So
yeah.
don't split up.
Yeah, definitely.
definitely
It
Is that
definitely
one of the
wasn't
rules?
my fault.
Yes,
that's
never
for
split
sure.
up.
Okay, never split up.
Never surrender.
Unless you need to survive.
Okay.
Okay. Never surrender.
But I'm always I've been replaying that fight through my head a few times. Like
Dot.
if I would have been able to be unparalyzed, I was like right there ready to cast
Yeah.
a friggin' lightning bolt to take out like half the minions in a row. And if that would have happened, I wonder how that fight would have went. So that's why I'm like, oh man, if I and I hate it because like I'm pretty good at most things like int, con, and wisdom or strength stuff, but like wisdom, that's basically essentially my dump stat at this point. But
At that time, I was
Weaknesses.
about to throw my thunder.
try weaknesses.
Everybody has them.
Yes.
That thunder wave was the same thing. That next thing I was preparing for, but as soon as you went unconscious, then he went unconscious. I was like,
yeah. It was just like a bad run of luck.
yeah,
You know.
because I knew if I stayed, it would have been like a full round of like 10 dudes. I'm just like, nope, I don't have enough AoE. Well,
Okay.
But it's something that we can all practice and work on.
I agree.
And
I'll be more selective with my choices.
You
of
were all
what to dance
incredible when it comes to combat and protecting each other. And I think we could be even better.
with. I need to remember to defend my people more with my knives, because I don't know if you know this, but I can use them for defensive purposes. I don't like to brag sometimes.
You're also very good at slipping in and out of,
Fountains?
fighting.
Oh, yes.
Running in and attacking and then running away. Bloody fountains.
I've heard that story so many
It's
times.
true, and
I never tire of it.
I find
you
that
don't like the
I like to
buttress
be more
talk.
flashy, but I could probably.
I mean, I do.
Sure,
I do.
sure, sure.
It's just when it's like 50 times a day.
Well, I like them.
understand?
It's something I enjoy.
By the way, what is that? Did you get a new knife?
I did. I was hoping.
Did you pick up another stray?
No, this isn't a stray.
Well, not
It's
now.
a gift. It has a name if you have to know.
What's its name?
Aramis. No,
Something's happening.
it's a drag. Are you
I don't know.
emotions?
I don't know. I have to go.
Your eyes are leaking.
No, I think I'm ill.
Oh,
Yes,
do
my
you
eyes.
need healing? As you're like shuffling away quickly.
Also, your eye stalks are also like
Try not to cry.
squinting a little bit. Like,
They're starting to get a little red.
Yeah.
Like,
so you're gonna wander off.
Yes.
Okay. So one other point of note is Aramis's gear is all still available. I know that it's never the fun thing to pick over the corpse of a dead party member, but there is items in there. I have shared them in Discord on our personal channel,
okay.
so you can see what is available if you wanted to.
We're
divvy that
looting
up.
the body of our favorite friend.
I mean, he didn't have any sort of next of kin or anything that any of you know of. So it's not like there's anybody who's going to be using
Wow.
that. other than
He
you.
had a lot of potions.
I'd take the holy symbol and throw it in the ocean.
Okay.
Wait!
What do you?
Yep.
I was just hoping maybe
never
we...
speak his name again. Not
Aramis?
Aramis. You can say Aramis all
Oh.
you want. Not the other one.
Zolos.
You're not supposed to speak it again!
He who
That
must not.
was tactic number 4.
Oh, seems to be a thunderstorm coming in.
It's
Why can't we say Zolos?
he who must not be named. I was told with good reason that he's misbehaving, and if you might draw his ire.
And this was from your friend that gave you this dagger?
Yes, Orthodius, he gave it to me. He says that this is some kind of a celestial.
It's an
holy
orthopedic dagger? Orthodius?
Yeah.
Orthias. just to clarify for all the people listening at home.
I wonder what the auto-generated captions are going to say.
Orthodontist.
Orthodontist?
I got this dagger from the orthodontist.
Hey, if they gave you that over like a new toothbrush, I'd be all for it.
Wand of paralysis. That sounds fun.
No, it is not fun.
Do not put the bag of holding in another bag of holding. I heard of a man that did that once.
Really?
It's
What happened?
Nothing was
common
left.
knowledge. Big explosion.
Not common knowledge for me.
Well, now
Should
you
we
know.
try it?
Is that what? Was that really how you got exploded? Was
No, it was literally a
Are
god.
you a bag of holding?
No, I'm apparently a
you are a bag of
squishy
holding?
thing.
Your bag
Are we
is holding your soul.
Are we just meat
That's
puppets? We are meat golems.
We were going to put you back in
with
Aramis,
skeleton pilots.
Yes.
but I was told that was creepy.
When
Yeah.
pregnant
Thank
wo-
you for not doing
When you
that.
see pregnant women, that's just a mech battle as they go walking around.
That's true. And the baby's controlling
Baby's
it.
the pilot.
100%. I have a friend. Her name is Torrey, and she.
Yes.
They can't even control their cravings.
It's true.
And
The
then the
baby
baby's
controls
like, hey, I want this. It kicks
All
kicks
she wanted
hard.
to eat was Mexican food, and also.
Am
a
I
lot of
pregnant all the
sweets.
time?
Yes, and she always had to pee, especially in the middle of the night. It was very annoying.
Loss of breath when the baby punches in the lung.
Yes. And one of her babies wouldn't move, and so she would have to shake her belly to wake it up because she was afraid that something had happened to it. And it was just a lazy baby, and it's a lazy child now.
You hear that, lazy kid?
For this hypothetical.
Yes, hypothetical.
He knows. He's the lazy one.
Okay, back on track
As best we can.
as
be.
best we can. We can take a couple hours to kind of reacclimate, learn the full story, which you can watch here. On the where is it? Right over there. Yep.
It's always over
Or
your
you
left
can
shoulder.
click down there.
My directions are confused.
Where's the-
that way?
Their playlists are also
this
down.
way.
Nope, this
Yep.
way. I don't know. Wherever you got your
Anyway,
thing.
you can talk to Callie and she'll give you the rundown about why your old body wouldn't work. And
Yeah.
are you gonna keep it? Or are you gonna dismantle it?
It's pretty macabre to ask someone.
He's in the new body. He's fine. Or they're fine.
I think I'll probably I'll probably just store it away for now.
Probably a good idea.
How do you
Like-
store a body?
Well,
It doesn't decay, right?
in Warforged, yeah,
Asking
exactly.
for a friend.
Are you talking about Aramis?
Aramis.
I've been giving that some thought. I think that we should. Do either of you know
Burn?
of any?
Burn by fire from a dragon's mouth. That's how I want to go when I voluntarily decide to die.
In a Viking boat. Like these boats over here look kind of Viking, I imagine.
Like that one, that piece of junk over there.
Junker! Yes! How? We should burn him in the junker that saved us. It's like symbolic somehow, I don't know.
Sorry, Captain. They always go down with their ship.
I mean, how much do you want to pay me for it?
I mean, you have to go down with it. It's just part of the rules. Captain always goes down with their ship.
Unless it's
Yeah.
not yours.
I know.
The money goes to my family, so
Unless...
Wow, that's pretty dark. Would you like some money? We just got a big influx of it. Here's 100 gold.
Thank you.
So you paid
We take
him?
100 old gold off of the Aramis.
This is not canon.
So now that Aramis just paid for it, it's now Aramis is the captain of the ship because he bought the boat.
Yeah, okay.
I think that
Something to
burning the body
memorialize
would be
him.
a fitting end, unless you have any other ideas.
I would say not to leave the ashes, though. In the embers, we should scatter them at the winds.
Well, if we burn them on the water, the boat will sink.
Even better. Because
Springs is full.
I just
I was
don't...
thinking Springs is full,
Dragons in the
so
sky.
it's heavy or candle in the water.
I just don't want the... it seemed like Zolos did a lot with, like, ashes and stuff. And
You said it. That was tactic number 4.
I need these written down.
It's a good thing that Fred is writing them down.
Scott did this to us on Saturday all the time. Like when we were specifically talking about something, every time it would be a thunderclap.
It's
So I'm glad I get to do that.
Frau, what's her name?
Frau Bruca.
Rabruga.
I wish I had the horse Snay too, but it's on a different board.
Where? Have a horse.
So-
Castle.
Wow, those are some big knockers.
Would you like to roll in the hay?
Where is Aramis's body?
In the freezer.
We put it in the freezer.
Where the food is? Or was?
We
There's
didn't.
just otter pops.
Well, now they're not, and now they're melted. So we have
The otters got away.
They're otter piss pops.
It's pops.
They're alcoholic. They're delicious.
Frozen alcoholic.
otter pops that are like infused with alcohol. That sounds great, actually.
See?
You can put like a shot's worth in each one.
Yeah.
How about tonight? We'll do that. We'll go out somewhere in the middle of the lake.
I think that sounds good. He would like that. Perhaps we can find a local druid to make some rain. He always loved it when it was really like dreary.
Will that put out the fire?
Depends on how small of a fire. You can do fireball, right?
No.
No, we
Scorching
determined
Everyone
that.
thinks I can do fireball. I cannot do fireball.
You have
This
to
is
be-
my Preston meta, like applying that to in-game to make sure that it's highlighted.
Well, mind sliver, done. Charm person, yes.
Scorching ray?
Scorching ray, no.
You can do scorching ray.
Darkness, no problem. Dissonant whispers, I'd be happy to. But
Okay.
fireball, no.
Listen, I can do scorching ray now. I remember. I forgot for a minute. It's right here on the paper.
You are the red sun.
Perfect, you can burn him.
I don't know if we'll be able to find
Continue.
a druid, considering how rare magic seems to be. Perhaps
Your friend.
perhaps if we just say Zolos over and over and over again,
Don't!
there'll be some.
No, tactic number 4.
What if I like the idea of the dragon. Do you think we might be able to
Nyrod? I will go
get one of his kids to do it or something? I don't know. He seems
I
pretty
bet
busy.
he'd do it for us. All he's doing is sitting on that treasure. And she heads off
No,
toward...
hold on.
What?
Can maybe we should go as well? I would like to meet this Nyrod.
Of course, come along. Have I mentioned we're best friends?
That's pretty.
Nyrod and I, not us.
I thought you were going to eat.
Are we just regular friends then?
Well, I'm Victor's best man. Especially now that Aramis is gone.
Too soon.
And I think of us as... I'm not really sure yet.
Oh, we're definitely not friends. And I walk away and I turn around and go, pranked.
Yes. I was going to say, I think of you as
Brother and
like
sister.
a school mistress who's kind of wraps my knuckles sometimes. And
I'll take that as a compliment.
So you're heading to talk to Nyrod?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I only teach one class though. It's the class of buttresses, so
The history of buttress.
Buttresses 101.
So you get to the Seat of the Dragon. You ask to see Nyrod after a couple
Hello,
minutes.
boys. I'd like to see my best friend forever,
they're like instantly
Nyrod.
like,
We'll go ask if he's available.
I'm sure he is. I don't need
Does he ever
an
leave?
appointment.
No, but he does have plenty of people that he talks to throughout the day.
So perhaps you're not his best friend. Maybe just an acquaintance. Maybe like a Facebook friend. You can kind of... He knew you from high school, but doesn't...
I think
That's
you'll
a
find
Book
you
of
are
Faces,
very
right?
wrong. Book of Faces too.
It's like the evil version of the Big
And
Book
it's
of
like
Bounties.
literally someone's skinned face.
Yep.
It's the evil Necronomicon.
Yeah. The evil. That is just the
No,
Necronomicon.
it's more evil than that.
Oh, jeez. It's the Necronomicon with a goatee.
It's ran by secret. It's ran by secret lizard people.
All right, sure. After a couple minutes, the guard comes back and he goes, he'll see you, I guess.
Told you so.
What?
And the three of you head downstairs. The two of you probably think that Fred was a little bit full of it at this point.
Fully expecting, like, hey, we're calling your bluff, ha 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 ha. And then it's like, nope. Okay.
Yeah. Did you believe her? Because I honestly.
You know I can hear you speaking about me right behind my back.
Ah, yes. Sorry.
No.
But I didn't believe you in the first place.
I gathered that. Thank you.
Remember, I have really low wisdom, so...
So do I.
Hence the guard attacks.
Yeah.
And a battle of wits.
I think we all have low wisdom.
Yeah.
No,
you
I have
have.
street smarts more than intelligence smarts.
I have high intelligence, but
I know all the history of buttresses in an area. I just don't know when to shut up about them. Hence the intelligence versus wisdom.
So you guys get down to the bottom and onto that platform that
This
Fred
is
remembers.
quite an impressive building.
Why, thank you. It wasn't me that built it, but I do enjoy it. And
Who did build it?
that would be the founders of Aldros, the Carpenters Guild, I suppose. And again, like the head of this dragon with the long curling horns comes into view. Fred,
Nyrod, darling, it's so good to see you again.
so good to see you as well.
Thank you. Can they do like the bees where you do
Yes,
the-
absolutely. It's
Not one.
This dragon's like big head, and you're just like,
Yes.
yes.
Now, to what do I owe the pleasure besides meeting your friends?
Oh,
here?
thank you. Yes, well, I have a favor to ask of you. I feel guilty asking it. But not really, since we're such good buddies. And chummy.
Go
Us two.
on.
Well, Victor here accidentally killed one of our friends.
Just
I'm
joking.
standing right
Involuntary
here.
manslaughter. I'm sure he could be convicted of such, but
Are we arresting him?
no,
today?
we're not. We just need your wondering.
I first of all, you are magnificent. I've never seen a dragon
Majestic.
ever. I've only heard of them in tales.
I do love the friends that you've brought with you. I am majestic, thank you.
The glimmering.
Also magnificent.
Ciao.
Yeah.
I mean, you're way more charismatic than the other one we met.
Another dragon.
Well, it
What
wasn't
other
really a dragon. It was more dragon hearts, but we had a friend that had a friend of a friend, you know.
It was a heart of a dragon.
Oh, you've seen a heart of a dragon
Yes.
before. Interesting.
He passed away and turned it into a boat.
Not quite. I can explain it to you if you would like to hear the story.
I very much would. It sounds like a delightful bit of gossip.
We love hot goss, us two.
I'll go into the story of the greatest treasure, and
Nyrod will absolutely not not.
I will
interrupt you.
actually at that time I'll actually look and I will focus a little bit, and the like arcane etching will like sink into my hand, and it's the mark, the dragon mark.
Oh, the dragon mark.
Yeah, it came with.
That is a very interesting story. Molten dragons are rare even on Arconus.
I believe he was the last dragon in an area.
Really?
Yes,
I
and
didn't
we are
think
very
they
good
were.
friends with his. What would you call? Well, he's a kobold. He's
A servant?
servant, I guess. He seemed to have a kind of a closer relationship than just master and servant.
That's a bit odd, but molten dragons are an odd species.
And when you're the last one, perhaps you're lonely.
Who am I to say what goes on between?
They were lovers.
I was going to say his concubine.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't say that out loud, but I would think it. Absolutely.
I will
Where do you
ask.
think the
I will
eggs
ask him. I will
came
send him a
from?
message.
They hatched later. He was a love child of the.
Do you have a lover?
Is he a love child and then the lover? Because that sounds improper.
No, he hatched from a clutch of eggs. Remember, he said he woke up and there was.
So he raised this child and then became lovers. That also sounds very improper.
No, that's not what I.
We don't
saying.
judge when it comes to dragons.
Like
We do not
something
judge.
from Greek
Maybe.
mythology.
Yes, whatever
no.
that is.
Yes. Anyhow, here's what we
An hour later.
Yes.
Anyhow, why we're really here.
We're all
Sorry for all your other appointments that got pushed
making a
back.
total gossip about.
I mean, I am
Don't
curious
worry.
now about how dragons are made. But
I mean, they're made as most creatures are, in the usual manner. Were you not taught this in your schools or by your parents? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring up your parents.
it's fine. Thank you, though, for being so understanding.
Of course. Well, when two dragons love each other very much, and if you do not stop him, he will go into a full explanation.
She will.
Yeah,
listen to the
like-
whole
Victor
thing.
will be
And that's on our
mortified.
Patreon. Corey's going to explain how dragons in Aneria.
Because Fred has never had this
Yeah.
conversation. Like, Sir would never have,
Yeah.
and she never like
Victor either.
had like girlfriends to talk
Victor
about
would
that kind of
think
stuff. Her
like
brothers
there.
would
His
tell
mom
her.
said something about like there's butterflies, and then there's like these
Oh,
little
butterflies.
and they turn into, and so he has this totally
Why would anyone
broken-
fall in love with a butterfly?
broken conception of like
Yeah.
what
Is he
what it
basically teaching sex ed to all of you
Yeah,
now?
yeah, well, I don't know about
No,
walls.
I'm just
I have a very clinical view of it.
Yeah.
mortified.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he will go into every detail that he thinks is pertinent information, which includes the fact that dragon eggs are on the inside until they are fertilized, which is a common thing on some reptiles.
Reptiles, yeah.
That is beautiful.
Can I take a long rest doing all
Yeah,
this?
absolutely. It can be.
All right, -3.
-3.
Is there a pail or like some kind of wastebasket anywhere nearby? Victor rolled a 4 on his
Do
con
not
save.
puke in the treasure.
Yeah,
Swallow
there's
it.
a wastebasket. Sure.
You have a bag of holding. You can always throw up in there and then later be like, puke.
And anyway,
need
that
to ask
is
Lyra if she's
that is
aware of
the
all this.
basics of it, I suppose.
And have you
I'm
had
sorry. What did he say?
something about Lyra?
I need to ask Lyra if she's aware of all of this.
Hopefully before you get married.
Oh boy.
Racking them up tonight.
Do you have any baby dragons?
I do not. I have not had a mate in some time. All of my dragons are, all of my offspring are far grown.
Really? Interesting.
It is a
So
dragon.
you do have children.
Yes, they're just not babies any longer. They're all adults. at
Do
this
you
point.
have a special someone?
Oh yes, he does. And her name is
Ethera is a good friend of mine, not anything more than that.
It's okay. We wouldn't tell
As
anyone.
far as dragons on Arconis goes, within the Alloy Alliance, it is all very political and diplomatic, rather than based on any sort of bond of love. We are one of the weaker dragon populations. The bronze, the silver, the brass, the copper, and especially the gold. They are very few in numbers, and we all have to make sure that we provide services so that our species may continue.
very interesting. Well, thank you for educating us. I'm very excited to find my true mate one day.
I don't know. This sounds too
It would
much.
be I would want to hear about it as soon as it happens, Fred.
Absolutely. In fact,
Girl talk.
Yeah. Curl each other's horns. I mean, here.
yes,
My
yes,
socks.
I will bring
I
them
stopped
to meet
it.
you. I promise.
Of course.
The favor.
Yes.
Our friend Aramis is no longer with us.
My condolences.
Thank you.
Yep, well.
We would like to pay our respects to him by burning his body. We believe he would like that.
A very noble way to do that.
I think so as well. I think it would honor him and his memory if you would light the junk aflame.
That's a small ship.
I am aware of what a junk
Well,
is.
we procured it.
Yes.
That's what we are going to use.
Seriously,
Out
that's
of
100 gold if that is the case. In order for me to make a trip outside of the Seat of the Dragon, it requires paperwork and months in advance, unfortunately. However, I would be able to provide the means by which you could burn his body, if that would be acceptable.
I think that would be very gracious of you.
Excellent. Now, does one of you have a torch?
Yes, of course. And I'll pull an unlit torch out of the
And he will
my
kind of take it from you and clutch it between two claws. And he's just going to kind of lightly blow on it. And this kind of bluish fire is going to flicker out of his mouth and hit the torch and light it ablaze. And then he's going to hand it back to Bolt. He says, that should not be put out, ever. It should not go out.
Oh. Actually, this is amazing. Thank you.
I know. And you are welcome. And again, my deepest condolences. Oh, of course. And he kind of reaches a claw down. You can hear shuffling through gold. And he pulls out a tiny rapier. And he hands it back to you.
Yes, thank you.
It's a +1 rapier now.
Yes, thank you.
And I hope that you are still planning on going through the quest that I had sent you out
Oh,
on.
absolutely. It is
what-
of the utmost
what
importance.
quest?
I will fill you in later. You were dead. Today is his rebirth day.
Happy
Their
rebirth
rebirth
day.
day. I mean,
thank you.
right?
Yeah. I have armor on, first of all.
It's full Barbie doll.
Just making sure.
I just imagine like Fred every now and then just like reaching over and pulling slap.
Since you gave us this ever-burning torch,
Yes.
I have something I would like to return.
Oh.
And I will pull out one of my small vials of chronal sand that I have,
Oh.
and I will hand it to him. And it is very tiny. It's
Yeah.
not very big for me, but so even for him,
Yeah.
it's
So yeah, but
itty bitty.
Despite that, he manages to clutch it without breaking it.
That is sand. We've called it chronal sand. It has properties of time.
Interesting.
From the vault of the Morai.
Really? The Morai were very powerful fates. I did not know that their vault had survived the shattering.
Yes, it caused us quite a bit of trouble, actually.
Another story I would very much like to hear.
I would love to tell it.
Please.
But you have to. You have to introduce me to whoever keeps the upkeep around here. These buttresses are in pristine condition.
The Kobold
Fred
Architects will
now
be
has
wonderful.
like a little thing where she's marking down how many times a day Bolt talks about
We're up to 15 in 1 hour of record
Prove to
keeping.
them. They don't believe me when I say.
But yeah, I mean, if you go through the story, he'll listen. This dragon is very much the talkative. wanting
Before
to
I
hear.
start, do we have time, or should we? What time is it, actually?
It's probably about 5 p.m. at this point,
Oh, we've got time before. Yeah, I'll tell the whole story of the Vault of Morai.
or whenever the equivalent of that is. Because
5 o'clock. It's fine.
What
You
is
can say time is time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how like there are clocks in this world.
Map?
I mean,
Sundials.
Yeah.
There's artificers that can make stuff.
True.
You know, there's magic
yeah,
clocks.
so you go through the whole, and he's got like so many clarifying questions, like who is Ezra, what, like who is Nezra, like
Yeah.
what the heck are you talking
And I will
about?
definitely take.
Who is Fezra?
Ezra, yeah, which is just
That's just Ezra wearing a fez. I want an entire book of like alternate versions of Ezra.
Yes.
And some of them are just that. You know,
just
dumb ones like that.
This is just the same thing happened, but he wore a fez the entire time. Yeah. In fact, like not only does Nyrod get a crash course in season 1 of Tales of Aneria, but
you can too.
Yeah, and you can too.
I'll put the playlist up here.
But Fred definitely like gets an idea of like the old companions and all of the intricacies. Yeah.
Fred, I'm sorry.
That unicorn horn.
I wasn't aware.
It's pretty cool, right? It's basically a toenail on your face.
Yes.
So it's kind of gross.
Fascinating.
Well,
Did he polish it ever?
I think horns are more distinguished than toenails.
Yes. I mean, look.
I mean, it's just keratin, right?
Ka-chow.
Yeah, he's like. Eve loves it, so it's something that she carries with her always.
She sounds fascinating.
And that is this voice of the wild.
Yes, and I'll go into that that storyline, including the Baba Yaga stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'll go, oh, and speaking of the Baba Yaga, and I'll explain Victor's thing. Yeah.
You have led a very interesting career as an adventurer.
We killed a god.
I'm sorry. And we'll go into
that was also a good story.
We will go into that explanation.
By the time we get done, can it be like, I don't know, 10 o'clock?
Oh yeah, it's very late into the evening at this point. I mean, Tales of Aneria takes you like, what, 40 hours to... Well, no, because there's 50 episodes.
No, it's 50 episodes, and they're like 2.5.
2 to 3 hours each, yeah.
So that's like 100 to 150 hours.
Yeah. But you compress it down into about 7 hours.
Yeah.
It's just all the recaps.
Yep, exactly. The best part of every episode ever.
Obviously.
Recap.
Up until about episode like 45, and then you have to kind of like wing it because the recaps stop. No, for no reason. I'm just busting your chops.
So,
Anyway,
it's been real.
it has
it's been good.
so wonderful
It's been
to...
real good.
We seem to have taken up all of your day. I apologize.
That's all right. I had nothing going on today.
As they say at the Cinder, or whatever
Does Victor actually wake up? You were like napping in the corner?
Well,
Welp.
that's the
Like Dragon Whelp?
Yeah.
that's the Midwesterner's way of saying we've overstayed
You like-
welcome.
Slap your legs
In
instead.
the old dusty trail.
Well, I guess we better be going. Kind of.
He's like, don't forget your casserole. Bring that Tupperware back, though.
Yeah. Oh, there was definitely like food brought in, some rockhead jockers and some meat.
And I'm
I'm
trying not to like gorge myself, but I'm like, this tastes so good.
At one point, he does like grab like a giant snail shell that looks like it's almost on fire. It looks kind of molten, and he like crunches down on it and eats it in its entirety.
Escargot, yes.
Oh, these are delicious. Unfortunately, they're a bit too much for mortals, but we do love the obsidian whelks.
I mean, I'll try.
French cuisine.
Seems good to me.
You take a piece
my
and you
gosh.
bite it. Oh, you are immune to fire damage, my friend. Yeah, it is hot, but it tastes pretty good.
Oh, that is quite spicy.
I want to try. Every time I'm like,
Yeah,
Indigestion.
it's pretty much like molten hot.
What's going to happen to all this food you're eating?
I have no idea. We will find out.
He's going to explode himself.
Yep.
Do not take
As I
eyes
walk
off.
away. Sorry, guys.
We do not go to bed until we watch. We will watch him. We'll take
He
shifts.
says he doesn't
I hope
have...
I do not explode.
I just took a
again.
nap. Now you get second watch. I'll take first watch. We'll do which okay.
I've already exploded once.
He will not leave our presence for more than like 2 minutes at a time without one of us watching him until we find something.
We gotta find what happened to that food.
So you guys leave the Seat of the Dragon after a wonderful evening with Nyrod. He wishes you well. Again,
Love
he gives.
you, mean it.
I love you too. Mwah, mwah.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
I think it goes mwah.
Mwah. Yeah, mwah. Sorry. Forgot my voice for a moment there. And yeah, you leave with an ever-burning torch. Literally, you can add an ever-burning torch, which might not be a magic item in, but we'll see. When you do like put it away, it it doesn't burn the area around you. It kind of like
I'll definitely
almost,
like test it. Like,
yeah.
Like it like I'll take paper and it'll burn what I want it to, right? Like focus on like
Could do
fire, but like
the way they used to keep fire. They would have bamboo, like this little bamboo.
Field bamboo.
They'd fill it with stuff, and then the embers would be in there. And so when they'd pull the top off, they'd blow on it, and then it would.
Oh, okay.
So you can do something like that.
so just like stay smoldering
There's a cap.
the whole time.
It smolders, and then as soon as the cap comes off,
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll head back to the boat.
And John actually is out on the dock, and he has set up the junk with Aramis's body in the middle, a bunch of like sticks and other like the coffin wood that your body was brought in, and everything. And as you're approaching, he's actually taking a broom and he's setting it down basically on top of the sticks. And he stands up and kind of brushes his pants off. He goes, "Oh, hey, you're back. Did you get what you needed then?"
Oh, we did, and I'll take it out of the thing. It's apparently dragon flame.
Oh, cool. And then in the light, you can actually see that like there are just like tears streaming down his face.
Oh, sad.
Yeah. And he goes, what is this?
Your soul is leaking.
Is it dangerous?
No, just sometimes when people go far away and you miss them, part of you escapes and tries to follow them.
This is explaining it to like a child. I love it. Everything that we tell.
I guess that is what I'm feeling. It's just
Aramis went to a farm upstate. Okay.
I'm just feeling. I just feel kind of
I had to flush
achy.
it down the toilet when we went to the sea.
It'll hurt for a while and it won't go away. But you'll grow around it. It'll become part of you.
I'll try. Oh, and he grabs the Aramis's resonance blade, the one that he got from the Hollowbend keep, and he says, "Do you want to keep this, or do we send it off with him?"
I personally think that we should hang it up in the galley.
I like that.
Okay.
I think it's fitting that he stays with the ship.
Okay.
Okay, so
We're ready.
We'll I'll climb down the ladder and actually step out onto the water and I have Ring of Water walking, so I can just walk on the water. And I'll push the junk out. Do either of you want to say anything?
I will go first because I have a feeling it won't be as eloquent as others. Aramis, you were very kind to me, and we're going to miss you. And I don't cry, but you were a better brother than any I've ever had. And I promise you I will take care of Victor for you, and I will lead the Bone Fairies as part of my army in your honor.
I always forget about those damn things.
Here, here.
Do you mind if I say something next?
Sure.
Aramis, you were kind to me in my short time knowing you, and I don't know if I'll ever stop leaking my soul out for you. And you were always pretty clean. Never really left any dirt around, which was nice. I appreciate that.
Here, here.
Victor, anything?
Aramis, you're where you need to be, and I hope that despite your love for things that were gloomy and edgy, that you find some glimmer of happiness wherever you are.
Well said. And then as I start talking, I'm going to start slowly lighting up the thing. Aramis, I'm sorry I wasn't able to protect you. And I will do my best to protect the rest of the Wayward Watch. And out of all the members, you were the 23rd. And I'm going to push it away.
As you start pushing it away.
That's a good lucky number, damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a good number. I like it.
You hear Callie shout from the Mnemonica spawn, "Attention!" And all of her crew stands at attention. Madame Talvain and Wynn watch from the deck of the Wayward Wanderer, along with Hafis, who didn't know Aramis that well, but is just kind of attending out of respect. And as the ship starts to ignite in blue fire on the waters of the Bay of Aldros, a soft, calming melody begins to be picked up on the wind. Nobody's quite sure where it comes from. You kind of look around, nobody's playing a lute or anything like that. In fact, it seems like there's maybe a whole orchestra that is kind of swelling up with the wind.
Like a troupe?
Yeah.
Like a troupe that plays stuff?
Mm-hmm. Kind of just like a band that might be passing through or something.
Victor will join in with Shadow Song. And just get it to drone and wail.
And that is where we are going to end tonight's episode. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Inspiration for my party members. Really good episode, guys. Really liked it. I think all that's left to say is, this is going to sound really insincere now, coming the tonal switch. Comment, subscribe. Do all the things.
Toll the dead.
Mm-hmm. And give your loved ones a hug. And let's get a true skull and crossbones in the chat for Aramis, and to give a nice little send off there. So, and don't forget, if you want to, you can check out these episodes 2 days earlier on our Patreon. But other than that, I think we're just going to say good night, and we love you all.
Bye.